Good morning, everyone. It's October 2nd. Let's dive into some price action here and talk about some potential scenarios for today. So we'll just start with the daily time frame. And what I have here is the year-to-date anchor VWAP high, right? And this was the gap up VWAP I've been talking about. On this gap right here, I've been talking about this Thursday, September 19th, has been a line in the sand, and you could see how it was acting as support over the last trading week. So the more times this was tested, the more likely it is to fail. And now it's bringing us down into this 466 area. And we have a little bit of a VP gap underneath us. So perhaps we hold and the VP catches up, or we start to see a little bit more further profit taking and selling into some potential levels of demand. And my first key level on mine up is this 561.77, the 20-day moving average area that coincides with this VP node. Okay, this is a little bit more than 50 days of data on the chart. This is 50 days ago, 20 days ago. So my first key level is this 561.77. So potentially, maybe we could hold this line. I would love to get a little rally up into here, then start to see some further selling, maybe sculpt out a bounce in here, and we could see something like this play out. And at this point in time, we'd be looking to see this anchored VWAP, with how that year-to-date anchored VWAP reacts. So we could see if it rallies into it, this gap VWAP that was acting as support could start to act as resistance, and we could start to fade from it. You know, on the flip side, if we start to trade above these and get above this Thursday's VWAP again and start to crack the year to date, then we always have the play where we could get that consolidation and break into new all-time highs. So the 561.77 VP node here, 20-day moving average, and it also coincides with this pivot low right here, that we have this pivot that held from the August 5th bounce, which that was the year-to-date VWAP over here that we held, the year-to-date low and the year-to-date VWAP, which we bounced off of. So if we fail at this 561 level, going to continue to monitor this 552, which we have to chew through some VP, but this 552 is the 50-day moving average area that coincides with this pivot from August 5th. So that brings us into 551. And then if this cracks, we have a really significant VP shelf right here at this 544 area. So that's the daily time frame. Let's dive into the smaller time frame. I made a video yesterday of a play that I was looking at. So we just talked about this decline. I sent in an image, I think it was on this candle here, that maybe in this area we could look to get a bounce. And I pointed out some targets that it could get into the daily VWAP and the potentially the 2-day VWAP. And then we had the anticipated lines here. So let's clean some of this stuff up. It looks like we're getting this scenario isn't playing out. Looks like it wanted to get up above that 2-day. Look for the pullback, right? Look for some strength here, right? Ring the register. Ideally, rally back above. Here's those VWAPs from the previous high that we talked about. So on the daily time frame, we said that was going to be resistance area. And actually, if you look at this right here yesterday, we tagged it to the T underneath the declining 5-day and tagged that year-to-date VWAP high on the intraday time frame. So let's clear some of this up, and let's get into it. So we got this rejection of the year-to-date VWAP high yesterday, traded into the 2-day, rejection into the year-to-date high, trading now back at yesterday lows. So kind of sculpted out what I would prefer on the daily time frame at this point, because we just dropped from yesterday's close price. We're down already a percent, maybe we get a quick little fade into this 564, 563, recover, and then start to see the same kind of pattern. The fade, stall, fade, fast recovery, get the bulls excited. And I talked about this in the scenario that I would actually prefer to get the bulls really excited, get back up to the 2-day. And that's what happens personally when this 5-day moving average starts to flatten decline. Nothing good happens underneath it. So finishing this up here on the SPY, the next thing we want to look at, we talked about in the daily, was, and I'd just be looking for some potential scenario like this today, is maybe a quick little shakeout, some short cover rally, and come back down to this 561. Keep coming down, and then maybe we could start to see some stability after that. So that's kind of potential scenario we could look for. And obviously, not one side or the other. We are above a 50-day and 20-day moving average in this bull market. So perhaps we could rally up, pull back, and start to do something like this, and pull back down, and then get going. And then that 5-day moving average, instead of looking like this, the 5-day moving average will start to come up, and we'll start to see evidence that the chart shifting and the trend stays intact. And here's your rally to a new high above a flat to rising 5-day. Here's your rally to a new low, your decline to a new low under a flat to declining 5-day moving average. So do we see a little bit further shake and decline, or do we pull back up? I don't know, but price action pays, and only the market knows. So let's get into the QQQ daily time frame. We filled this gap. We've been getting some profit taking from here. So if we let's sync this up, and now we have our red line, and we could see on Monday that was our key level of supply, and we pull them back. And yesterday, this 2-day VWAP couldn't trade above, and now we're trading a little bit lower. So key levels on the daily here for the QQQ, looking to see if we fill this VP gap up in this area, continue to pull back into this 474, 473. This 50-day moving average is starting to rise, and it's going to continue to rise. Today will be, for the remainder of the week, today we'll be adding this data, Thursday and Friday. So we'll be adding all of these candles in here over the next trading days. So even as we decline, even down to 468, that 50-day moving average will continue to flatten out and rise. So the intermediate trend is still potentially building some momentum, as we have this 20-day rising, 200-day rising, and we are now trading above the year-to-date VWAP high. Okay, so we could see we traded above here. Supply was released, and then we rallied up, and we was able to fill this gap. So those are our daily levels, and potential price action playouts. What it could look like. It's going to be similar story to that SPY. Perhaps we continue to fill this VP, get some profit taking into here, get some people excited to short the level of 470, and everyone's late to the party. It bounces on them, and then that could be where we talk about a potential play to the downside here. And the same story as the SPY, right? That would be the 5-day or the year-to-date VWAP high, anchored VWAP. So maybe we get a fade into this 475, 471, get a nice little bounce into this 480, 482, 485 area. And this could be a potential area where supply could get released again. And you could see this VP node right up in here. So, and then if we do start to see some positive construction on the chart, just like we did on the SPY, it would be looking more something like this. So this 5-day just declines, flattens, and rises again. So Hopefully this was helpful, and this is the potential scenarios for today. The SPY, this was kind of what I had drawn out. Guess I deleted it earlier in the week. This is what I was looking for, and I talked about, I think, yesterday's video for the bigger short is that rallies up, and now we have the evidence, not the bigger short, but the evidence that the intermediate trend is changing. So this is where I was looking to rally up, and if you wanted to, you were an aggressive trader, this could be potential now, or we could start to see these faster moves to the downside. Hopefully this was helpful.